Welcome to Cine Here, where you come for all of your media needs. My name is Ray.
It's your boy Nikki Tay.
And today, we're reviewing Gretel and Hansel.
Directed by Oz Perkins, starring Sophia Lillis, Sam Leakey, and Alice Cridge. Gretel and Hansel. I've been having a lot of, difficulty, talking about this movie because I always want to say Hansel and Gretel, which is the folktale, the German folktale that it's based on, written by the Brothers Grimm. Everybody should know the story, right? Family starving. They say, hey, let's leave our kids in the woods. Kids eventually find a witch. They kill the witch. Hey, somewhat happy ending. But this film, Gretel and Hansel, they switches the names because Gretel in this film is older and Hansel is now the little brother. And then probably most to distinguish themselves from Hansel and Gretel, the witch hunters, with Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner. Looking at this trailer, I'll start with the positive.
Okay.
I was like, okay, we are getting more of that dark visual horror, right? Like The Witch, or Midsummer, or Hereditary, right? Like we are getting what is artistically looking like a very good,
You named like a movie.
Scary movie, right?
You named like a movie.
But then I had a thought halfway through this movie. I said, this style of horror movie, this dark, almost like what Batman Begins was for superhero. It's kind of like torture porn, but for scary movies. Now hear me out.
Okay.
Torture porn in the horror genre is its own thing, and very few people like it. But it's all about the gore. It's all about the kills. People like that aspect of those films, but for torture porn, for horror in the horror genre, is too much for the average person. What do you say, right? This dark, and I don't even know what to call it. It's like dark look porn for horror. That's what I'll call it. It's now a thing, and everybody loves it. It's kind of like the same thing with the kills, right? You want it, but too much can be bad, right? And it's kind of like you want that balance of a good story with great visuals. And this is where it comes to my point. This wasn't it, which is sad. I look forward to this film. I said, oh, this is going to be really good. Like the movies I named. Yeah. It didn't live up.
Let me just start by saying this. I think it's very important to say. I'm 29 years old, so I want to specify. In my 29 years, fresh 29 years of living, I've never seen a good PG-13 horror, dark, fantasy, thrilling, whatever you want to put on. I've never seen one. So I was already going into this movie with really, really low expectations as far as the rating is concerned, because I know that I'm not going to get what I want. And I didn't. This movie was just like The Witch, in the same vein as the movie The Witch, but not as compelling, I think. I think not as compelling. I would say, in my opinion, I think Nikki Tate, they don't agree. I think Sophie did great from an acting standpoint. I think she did great from an acting standpoint. She's not going to win any awards. It's not that kind of performance, but I think that she executed what the director wanted her to do. But the story was way too slow, and you find yourself not caring about it. And I think you find yourself not caring about it because they never really built Gretel and Hansel up in the way that they kind of do in the fairy tales. At least in those you can kind of relate because you're a kid. You see this house made of candy and you want some of it, and it draws you in. So as a kid you can relate. I would go to the house that looks like candy because I probably want to take part in it too. This movie really had none of those things that even will relate you back. And since they don't build up the characters, then you tend not to care.
Yeah, you almost stole my joke. I had a joke set up. You almost got there. This movie was without candy. It was without that sweetness of the fairy tale. I think the acting was okay. Sophie, she didn't wow me. She didn't give me something compelling like she did in It.
She didn't wow me either.
She was she was reading lines, and sometimes I was like, I want you to get there and then get there emotionally. This is a very lackluster film. It is boring.
It is.
It is slow.
It is.
It is uninteresting.
It is.
I could literally enjoy any other adaptation of Hansel and Gretel more than this, and that's sad to say. That's sad to say. I'd rather listen to the opera.
But it's not as bad.
I'd rather listen to the opera.
It's not as bad as Hansel and the Huntsman.
No, I'd rather see the Witch Hunters. I'd rather see the Witch Hunters. Because then, you know, that was all about them as an adult. So like, they could do whatever at that point.
Yeah.
And which was killing monsters. I'm cool with that. I mean, I'm here for fun. I know what I'm there to expect, right? This, you know, I thought I was going to get a truly chilling tale. Like, turn this already dark fairy tale into something that is just like moves me. And it did move me. It moved me to ask for a refund. Because this wasn't it. And it's unfortunate that, you know, January has to end this way.
Let me just say this. Because there are good things about the movie. There are good things about it.
Yeah, visually it's beautiful.
Thank you. We got to talk about some talk.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Because I already made that point, right? Like, now I expect this from horror movies. They do it so much. I named 3, and it's way more horror movies that take that same vein. So now this style of horror movies is the expectation, and now like that's no longer the bottom. That's no longer the bottom rung.
Yeah.
You have to now give me the ice.
Elevated. I agree.
You have to give me the ice.
I agree, but you got to get their flowers. You got to give them their flowers.
No, I don't.
In this movie, visually, this movie was visually shot well. I like some of the directorial choices in which the scenes that they shot. I like some of the things that they done.
You watch any good horror movie and copy it. That's what he did.
I've also seen bad visually horror movies.
I have, but you
got to point out the good in the movie.
Copy the good ones, and you get this stylistically.
Yes.
I could make this movie.
Okay, I'm not saying you couldn't. I'm just saying
that's bad.
It looks well.
I want to make a movie. I want to see a movie that I can't make. I want to be like, damn, this was tough, and this took me in a place I wasn't even thinking. It did none of those things.
The movie not good. I'm not saying the movie good, but I feel like this movie, and I hate saying this because I feel like I'm playing both sides of the fence. I feel like this movie is in that place where it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie.
It's not bad.
But it's definitely not a good movie.
It's not good.
And that's why it's so hard to rate movies like this, because it's like...
No, it's not. I got a number. It's not hard. It's okay. It's an okay movie. For all the reasons we named. It looks good. The acting is okay. It's just boring. You know?
I would give Oz the credit for trying something new. He tried to take the tale of Hansel and Gretel and kind of flip it on his head and change things about it.
That's not new. That's not new.
He tried to change it.
It's not new.
He made her older versus them being the same.
Oh my God! Yeah. Bravo.
Wait.
Bravo.
the dynamic of the story.
He's giving him a pocket full of posies.
No,
every flower in the book. He's just here. Take them. I love it. I love what you did. Yes. Magic. Yes.
and then there's like the strip club. You try to scrape all the flowers back. And I said, this is what you would have got. No, this is what you would have got if your movie would have actually been what we all wanted it.
You can't touch the money after you'll be arrested. You'll be arrested.
Gretel and Hansel, right, is a movie that me and Nikki Tay watch for you so that you don't have to. This is a movie that I would never tell somebody to watch. And it's not because it's a bad movie. It's just because it's a waste of time. Why? It's just a waste of time.
That sounds crazy.
I know it does sound crazy, but that's what it is. It's not a bad movie. It's just a waste of time. So with that being said, I'll probably have to give this movie a 6, right? Because it can't get less than a 5 because it is a watchable movie. But I'm not going to give it lower than a 6 because it's not that bad. So I'm going to sit at a 6 and I'm going to say do not watch this movie. Do not waste your time watching this movie unless you were just so curious to see what we thought we was going to get from the trailer.
My co-host obviously likes this movie. While I agree the movie is watchable,
yes,
I cannot give them credit for excellent visuals anymore. I've seen the style executed way too many times now. It's 2020.
But you can't.
I know. I can't knock them for it. And I'm not knocking.
Every film not be held as own standard.
It is. I'm holding it. I'm holding it here. Okay. Right? Like the visuals alone is what gets it to a 5. Now give me the rest. They did not. I will give them a 5.5 easily. I'm happy with that because the acting was okay, right? Yeah. And the trailer was really good. Mm-hmm. So Those two
The
things
trailer
alone.
was, when we got that trailer,
The trailer was better than the movie.
That's always a sad thing.
And I'll say what I gotta say for after this. That completes the review of Gretel and Hansel. If you are thinking about seeing this movie, this is what I was gonna say. I recommend you watch the newest season of Sabrina. I'm just like, just bypass this, bypass that craving you have for something dark, something artsy, and just watch Sabrina. And I haven't even seen it yet, and I'm recommending it. So that should tell you how I feel about this film. You got anything?
Nah. This was a bad ending to January. Like you said, I think you encapsulated that perfectly. This was a really good month. But there's other movies that came out this week that may still hold January firm. So we'll see.
As always, let us know if you see this movie, if you liked it, if you were looking forward to Gretel and Hansel, or if you were waiting for Hansel and Gretel. Is that a valid? It might be a valid question. And if you do like it, let us know. Tell us why. Don't forget to always hit the notification bell if you enjoyed this review. And don't forget, you see me here. Like I changed it? No, it was bad. I won't do that next time.